Hi, Pa. How you doing? Let's talk about your work. Thank you so much for completing this submission in PDF format in one page. That was phenomenal. Thank you. It's just going to make it so much easier to go through this presentation. So right now, let's start with your logo. Okay, let's jump in here and let's take a look at the top of your letterhead where we're getting to take a look at your logo. Now, right now, as it stands, your logo is secondary in this composition, or maybe even third in position. Should be first in position, being that that's your foundational underpinnings of your entire branding. The thing that's working against you here is that you're basically you're drawing your own attention away from your logo by using this horizontal rule, this kind of path away from your logo. And the viewer gets in here, they start looking and they immediately go over here because they're just doing what you're telling them to do, and that's following the direction of the path that you're giving them. We know that if somebody stands on a corner on a busy street and points to something, it's not long before everyone on that corner is looking to see what they're pointing at. Same thing here. That's what we do. We follow directions. That's visual direction. And you're saying, look over here. So immediately you're telling the viewer, look away from my logo, look away from my branding. And I think that's working against you. I think it makes sense if you think about it. So my recommendation here in the letterhead would be to do this. I would say this visual weight down here is too heavy too. This big blue block is just drawing all the way to the bottom, and it's kind of anchoring and it's giving this presence that this thing isn't light and airy. I would remove that. I would remove that from the logo. Definitely. Use Pa Yang graphic design. I would increase the size of graphic design because right now it's too small in relationship to Pa Yang. I would say, watch my cursor, something like that. A little bit bigger in there. Okay, and then if you want to use your blue, put it right in your logo. And then your logo right here at the top corner of your page of your letterhead. Okay, and then you can replace that by just creating your type and either placing it at the bottom of somewhere at the bottom of the letterhead. I'm quite fond of spanning the length of the width of the letterhead with your contact information. I think it opens up this wonderful versatility for the letterhead itself. So think about that. Then what that'll do is that'll just open up this whole top of this letterhead where your logo is sitting up there alone and the viewer has nothing to do, has no choice but to absorb that logo and let that branding do its job. And that's brand yourself. Think of it branding, marking yourself in that person's brain. Okay, and let it do that by sitting up there alone. So you're making the association between yourself and this logo, not the association between yourself and this graphic right here. I hope that makes sense. If you want to use that graphic, that cursor kind of thing from Illustrator showing the path, that's cool. It's creative. It's kind of cool. But on the front of the business card, I would definitely remove that guy. And I would use Pa Yang, but what I would do in composing your type here, I think it's a good idea to keep the Pa Yang logo up in that left-hand corner. You can certainly make it bigger, but what you're doing over here is you're creating three different areas where your contact information. So you've sliced your contact information into three different areas, and that's kind of peculiar. You want that all to be grouped together. So you can either group it over here, right align it, and keep it over here, or you can even span it at the bottom like we talked about right here. Okay, so those would be my recommendations. I think it would really help strengthen the branding. I think it would help strengthen the logo itself. And I think it would help strengthen the relationship that you're trying to establish between yourself as a designer and this mark as your branding. Okay, hope that makes sense. If not, let me know, let me clarify. I'll be glad to. Yeah, like I said, any questions, just give me a holler. All right, great job. Thanks very much.